I know that this year's honorees, along with previous inductees, will be the first to tell you that their success did not happen in a vacuum. It was a combination of their own hard work, the sacrifice, and that of all their teammates also made, along with their coaches and their support staff. So would all former Colonel EKU coaches, student athletes, and staff please stand that we may recognize you as well. We would also like to acknowledge the Athletics Hall of Fame Selection Committee, which has once again taken on that very difficult task of identifying the best of our best and given us another well-deserving class of inductees. So thanks to the committee for a job well done. Our next inductee was a member of Coach Kidd's first EKU football team. He played defensive end for the Colonels from 1964 to 1967. And he was a big part of Eastern raising its win total from 3 up to 8 in 1967, which culminated in that OVC championship and a 27-13 victory over Ball State in the NCAA Mideast Regional Championship. He was all OVC as a sophomore and a senior when he served as co-captain for that Grantland Rice Bowl championship team. He was the team's leading pass rusher as a sophomore, was second on the team in interceptions with 4. While injuries slowed him his junior year, he served as a tri-captain as Eastern's defense led the OVC, allowing less than 204 yards a game. He returned to full strength his senior year, leading a defense that gave up only 70 points in the 10 regular season games, including 3 shutouts. After graduation, he was signed as a free agent by the San Francisco 49ers, but his football career ended with an injury in 1968. He was inducted into the founders class of the Springfield Clark Shawnee Hall of Fame in 2012. He had 2 brothers that also played for Coach Kidd. Brian played for the Colonels from 68 to 70, and Mark played for Eastern from 1977 to 1980, and was a member of that 1979 National Championship team. Joined today by family and friends, let's welcome number 88, Chuck Seaman.
I was listening to all this accolades and stuff we did, and Coach Kidd over there, some of my teammates, I was ready to play. And I looked at the picture on the brochure, I said, yeah, I can do it. And then I looked in the mirror, I said, in your dreams. No way. No way. Anyhow, I feel incredibly blessed and grateful to receive this honor and to have been a part of EKU's family of athletes, the men and women, teammates, teachers, coaches that came into my life through this university, helped mold me, my wife, and so many other young men and women, and I'm deeply grateful. I feel so privileged to have played for one of the greatest college coaches of all time. I think I went ahead of myself. Forgive me, I'm 71, so I forget. Hey, I'm going to back up a hair. The coach, you're still the greatest coach of all time. We'll get that again. Okay. I first met Coach Kidd as a very shy, backward senior in high school. My dad brought me to EKU to meet Coach Kidd, and the first thing my dad did was, this was in Coach Kidd's house, he told me to take my shirt off, and I said, huh? I don't know if you remember that, Coach. He took my shirt off. I had never been more embarrassed in my life and was totally humiliated. But my dad was a character. I'm sure today him and Coach Shannon are up there discussing strategies. So Coach Shannon is no longer with us. Most of you probably don't go back that far. You see, my dad was really trying hard to get me at the EKU to play football. There were 8 of us children, and my parents worked hard to make ends meet. Both wanted desperately for their children to be able to go to college. My dad made it plain to me and my 4 brothers that our only avenue would be through athletics and a scholarship. Eventually, two of my brothers, which was already mentioned, followed me to EKU and had very successful careers here and are also alumni. Sports have given my siblings and myself so many opportunities that we probably would have never had otherwise. Coach Kidd did not offer me a full scholarship that day. He made it clear that I would have to prove myself and then hopefully be offered one. I was determined. I loved the game of football, and I've never been afraid to work hard, so that is what I did. By the end of the first semester, a full scholarship was offered to me. My freshman year was Coach Kidd's first year as head coach, and I do feel so privileged to have played under one of the greatest college coaches of all time. I do have lots of memories from those days, and when I see all you old teammates, they pop up even more vivid. Remember all the two-a-day practices. I don't know if, and the dawn patrols. Any of you remember dawn patrol? The coaches, they were for disciplined reasons. I don't remember what I did wrong, but I'm sure I deserved it. But there was 6 a.m. on the track, and coaches took turns coming up there to watch us, to make us run. And I remember none of us wanted to get Coach Oakley, because the grumpier he was, the more we would have to run. So we all tried to stay away from him. I also remember the water bucket with a rag in it that we had to suck on for our water during practice. And then they would give us a cup of salt water at the break. Now, I don't know if that's still done today. But my grandsons asked me what kind of helmets we wore, and I said they weren't leather, and we did have face masks. So, also, especially remember the pep talks by Coach Shannon. There was no one like him. He made you feel invincible. He was an incredible motivator, and we all loved him. I especially remember his Sparky story, and I still recall it today. The memories of those 5 years I spent under these men, being mentored and disciplined, shaped me for the future. They taught me how to persevere through pain and injury, how to strive to be the best of the best, and also how to handle defeat as well as victory. Probably have a little quiver in my voice because this means so much to me, my family, all of us. As I look back, though I didn't realize it then, the hand of God was all over mine and Luann's lives. Our marriage barely survived the struggles of those 2 years, 2 years spent in college after we were married in 1966. Juggling the college, the demands of football at this level, as well as pressures that having no money guarantees, coupled with both of us being too young to start with. Somehow God still kept us together, and this year we celebrate 50 years of marriage. I couldn't have done it without her. She has been God's most special gift to me. That's my wife. After college, my plans were to be a professional football player. I worked hard toward that goal, ended up with the 49ers after graduation from EKU, and signed as a free agent. I thought my future was secure. That was what I wanted, and it was all I could imagine doing. But again, God had his hand intervened. God intervened. During training camp, I sustained a career-ending injury, was sent home, devastated. I thought my life was over, but God had other plans for me. That year, God led us back in. Shoot. That's what happens when you try to read everything. Anyhow, back it up to the 49ers, knee injury, and it was 1968. That's why I'm having trouble. That's a long time ago. So, 1968 was the height of the Vietnam War. So as soon as I got home from the 49ers, I had my draft papers in the mail, and I went to Columbus with my best friend Steve for the physical. I flunked class of Miami 4F because of my injury. He passed and went on. That winter, he was killed in Vietnam, and I was spared because I had flunked the physical. Those were dark days in our country, and my depression was at all-time high. Again, God had different plans for me. That year he led Luann and I back after we got home from the being classified 4F and no longer being able to play football. That year, God led us back into our early love of horses. I worked in a bank, and Luann taught school. We began to work with the horses that we both loved so much. We had met in 4-H club and as young people, and to make a long story short, we have owned and operated a public training stable for Arabian show horses now for almost 50 years. Our two sons work with us, and I can honestly say that we are extremely blessed. God has blessed us with 3 beautiful children, Matthew, Christy, and Luke. Matt and Luke are with us today, along with their wives, Pam and Sarah. I think I said that right? And 6 of our 9 grandchildren. I would like to acknowledge them. Would you stand up just for 1 second? All right. 2007, our lives took a turn that no parent wants to experience. Our daughter Christy passed away right after the birth of her baby. It was incredible. I'm not crying because I'm sad, I'm nervous, and I'm excited because she's in the arms of Jesus right now. So don't feel bad for me. Encourage me, that's it. Our daughter Christy passed away right after the birth of her baby. It's the hardest experience in our lives and a huge test of our faith. But again, Luann and I have seen God's hand all over our lives, even in our loss, bringing comfort, assurance, and hope. He has given us peace, and we are so thankful to have had her in our lives for 30 years that we had her. This past year, I was diagnosed with cancer. So once again, our faith was tested in a whole new way. Today, I'm cancer-free. And so very thankful to God for his healing powers and his working out intricate details of all that is involved in the cancer journey. Each of us will have many circumstances in our lives, some good and some very difficult. It is being part of being human. It is how we process and deal with those hard times and to who we rely on when the storms of life come that make or break us. For us, it has been our faith in the Lord. I'm not the same person I was as that skinny, scared kid that was forced into Coach Kid's home that day some 50 years ago. God has changed me, and I'm so thankful. My only regret is that my parents are no longer with us. This day would have been so very, very special to both of them. God bless all of you, and thank you. Thank you.